Now, Silicon Valley may be home to Facebook, Google, and Apple, but guess what? Nigeria is also home to some promising startup tech companies as well. I mean, why else would investors like our guests be willing to pump some money into Nigerians' tech startups? Well, we're joined here by someone that is going to, as you can probably tell, it's Tech Day. It's Startup Tech Day. So if you are someone at home and you have a great idea for a tech company, or if you've already, put the idea together, but you're looking for the funds, today is for you, because we are joined by an investment manager. Her name is Amina Adewusi from 440 NG, and it's a Nigeria-focused tech startup investment fund. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just so excited to have her, not just because she's beautiful, but she's a great mind. Like, this is a good person to tap into today. Thank you, Amina.
Thank you so much, Eno, and thank you, Olive. It's wonderful to be on the show. I'm really happy to be here representing 440 NG today.
So let's talk, my mind initially, like when I, found out about 440 NG was, why Nigeria? And I know tech, it's a big industry to delve into, but we don't often hear about that in Nigeria. So my first question is, why Nigeria?
I think that's a really good question, Eno. So first of all, maybe we should step back and ask why Africa?
Okay, yeah.
You already mentioned Silicon Valley, London, Tel Aviv. These are all huge centers for technology startups and investment. So why should we look at Africa? Well, we have a huge population, 1 billion people, and mobile penetration here is super impressive. Stats range from about 70% and above. Often we find that we have not only one phone, but 2 phones.
We carry 3 here.
And they've got the most expensive ones and the latest ones.
Thank you. Some of my family members here, they have better phones than me that I carry in London. So as you can see, mobile is very common here in African countries. And therefore, for investors who are looking to gain traction from mobile companies that can scale rapidly, internet companies that have far reach, Africa really, really is the place to be.
So I guess why not Africa would have been the better question.
I think so. And Nigeria within Africa, Africa's largest economy, it really goes without saying. The population size of over 170 million. This story is so compelling, Eno.
So is your investment limited to just Nigeria or other countries in Africa as well?
So 440 is a seed fund, and we invest in startups that are targeting the Nigerian market. These startups can be from other African countries, but they should be targeting Nigeria. Why? We really, really believe in the Nigerian story. The market is growing. GDP growth rates are really positive. The last elections have shown that we can hand over power successfully. These are all really positive. Also, the mobile uptake here, the infrastructure is getting there. We're seeing good signs. And as 440, we want to be a market leader in investing in technology companies in Nigeria.
Okay, how long has 440 been in existence? Is it a new company? Is it something that's new?
So 440 started last year. It's a joint venture between a Danish partner and a Nigerian partner. So these two guys have come together to raise a fund, which is about 50% internationally raised and 50% local, which is amazing to see both Nigerians and international investors working together together hand in hand to invest in local technology startups. So Chika Nwobi, who's our Nigerian partner, is the founder of L5 Lab, which is an incubator for technology businesses. And he also created MTech, a tech company, and successfully exited that company. The same with Creston Book, our Danish partner. He has successfully started and exited 2 companies and now has invested in over 45 African startups. Wow. He was one of the pioneers of investment in technology startups in Africa. He's run accelerator programs in Cape Town, in Nairobi. He's got the Cape Town garage, the Nairobi garage, and now the Lagos garage, which are hubs for startup activity in Africa.
So, like, let's homing in on Nigeria now. I'm sure you meet lots of the tech startup companies. Are you? Well, you must be impressed to the extent by what you see. But I'm just interested in the variety of ideas or businesses that people have started in the country. Because I personally, I find myself shocked sometimes when I'm on Instagram and I see certain companies that are in existence. But I would just like you to share, some of the tech companies that you've come across here that have particularly, impressed you.
So last year we invested in 9 technology startups.
Here in Nigeria?
Here in Nigeria.
Wow.
We had a 3-month accelerator program where these startups came into our co-working space, the Lagos Garage in Ikoyi, and they worked with us, with Creston, with Chika, with some amazing partners, InterSwitch, Jumia, Konga. Their CEOs were all with us helping our startups for a full 3 months. And some of them include Pass.ng. They do exam revision. You can download their app and prepare for your JAM exams. They also include startups like Gingerbox. So if you like fruits and would like some fruits, vegetables for your office, you can get them delivered straight to you at Gingerbox. Also, startups like Ella, Matthew, or J. Osby, where you can get the latest clothes and apparel.
Such a wide variety. Now, you do have an exciting event coming up that many people at home will definitely want to know about. So if you could just tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, I can. So we're doing an event called Deal Weekend, which is a 24-hour event in which we promise to invest in at least 1 technology startup. And we're not just investing small amounts. We're looking at $100,000 plus.
I feel like we need to pause so people listen, if you have a good idea, this is the time to put it down, right?
I totally agree, Eno. If you have a technology-enabled company, please check out www.440.ng, where you can apply to be one of the companies that present to 440 and all of our co-investors at Deal Weekend 2015. It's going to be amazing.
Wow.
So what are the things you look out for before you decide to invest in a company?
So that's a really, really good question, Olive. There are actually a number of things we look for. So the first thing we look for is the people who are running the company, the team. We always like to see 2 co-founders because it's really hard to do something on your own, right?
Okay, so if you do have an idea just as an individual, is it best you should pair up with someone before, in the case of trying to get, investment from 440NG?
It definitely is. I would even say not just for 440, but for any investor.
Oh, that's interesting.
Lots of investors like to see a team that can work together cohesively.
You know why that's really interesting? I wonder, there's some people I know that are like makeup artists, but when they send out their messages, they always say things like, we will do this and I'm sitting there thinking, I know it's just you. You have no PA, you have no secretary, but I guess it is more encouraging to know that there's a team of people behind an organization.
It definitely helps. And if you just think about, whenever you're doing something in life, you always need to rely on other people, right?
Yeah,
it's always helpful to have someone around you, whether it's like your husband who supports you, or your sister, or your best friend. You always have someone with you. And it's the same thing in business, right?
Yeah, very true.
So another thing we look for is some traction. So we don't expect like long business plans. In fact, we really don't like that. What we like is people who have started their company in a really small way and have tested the market.
Okay.
So it's all about testing and getting real-time market information on how demand works for your product and what people like. So for example, with Gingerbox, one of our fruit delivery companies, we got straight out there as soon as we could and started delivering fruit to people and getting their feedback. What kind of fruits did they like? What about the packaging did they prefer? Because really, we can't study business in a textbook. Business is all around us, right?
Okay, so the support that you give is not just monetary, it's also in terms of, you know, advice or I guess just helping the business get along as well.
Definitely, Eno. And in today's market, there's no shortage of cash for good ideas. Often entrepreneurs are looking for mentors, people who have run businesses and who they can ask for advice. So that's one of the big things that 440 can offer. All of our investors who work with us have built businesses themselves. They've been through the ups and downs, Eno. They understand how the markets work, and they're there with our startups every step of the way.
So there's no room for fresh people who haven't tasted the market yet?
Afraid not. For our fund, we look for people who have at least started. So they've at least made some initial steps towards their idea. And what I would urge for any entrepreneur out there is that they just get started. You know, it's that Nike thing. Just do it.
That is so true. I think that's a perfect way to end the conversation. But so where can I know you gave out the your website earlier, but let's just remind our viewers where they can, you know, sign up for this great event.
Thank you, Eno. So please check out www.440.ng. Check us out on Twitter, 440.ng, and Facebook, 440. We'd love to hear from you really, really soon. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
It's been such a pleasure having you.
I'm going to steal you after. I know you're going downstairs to Wazobia. She's going to test out her pigeon.
That should be really interesting. I was talking to my driver this morning to try and teach
give you
me.
some tips.
Yeah.
See, even the geniuses need some help sometimes. So we're going to move on to another very interesting discussion that we had, Zoe had yesterday. I'm not going to ruin the surprise with who it is, but it's an iconic person. So stick around for that.
So, did you like what you just saw? I know you did. It's very simple. If you want to see more, just subscribe to our channel right now.